I'm with Sandoval County Indivisible. We are hosting this tonight strictly because we are a community player and member, and we vote too. So we want to have a good, clean, fair election. So this debate is intended for all of us to learn about the candidates and their policy positions relative to the office of mayor. We know that. That's why we're here. But our intent is to have a very civil and respectful conversation about issues that are important to this village when we vote. So it is my pleasure. We have an amazing moderator with a wealth of experience tonight. Heather Ballas, many of you know her in the community. Heather has devoted much of her career to ensuring that voters have an authentic voice in the democratic process. Well known in New Mexico for her even-handed facilitation of policy-driven town hall meetings. She is also a longtime consultant for the Nonpartisan Commission on Presidential Debates. So she is well-versed in what we are doing. Heather is a 20-year resident of Corrales and a former member of the village's Planning and Zoning Commission. Heather, please show them how it's done.
Thank you so much, Terry. Okay, so good evening, everybody. We're thrilled you're here. Thank you so much for being patient with us while we were getting everybody in the door. I just want to remind us that a debate is such a healthy part of the democratic process, and it is intended for us to understand how potential lawmakers differ. So most of our questions tonight are going to be about figuring out how these two fellas differ in terms of the way that they might lead our village. But there are a number of ways that these two good men are very similar. And I want us to take a minute and think about how they are alike. Both Mayor Jim Fahey and Dr. Fred Hashimoto are physicians. They gave their professional lives to healing people. They're both Democrats. They're both smart and principled and highly conscientious, and I can tell you that because I know both of them. And they're both willing to give their retirement years in service to our community for a job that's often pretty dang thankless. It doesn't pay much. It's difficult. Yeah. So I was about to say, would you please applaud them for being so cool, and you did it, so thank you. And now I'm gonna take a couple minutes to talk about the format, and then for the rest of this night, it's mostly gonna be these fellas. So the first few questions and the final question will be from me. And to be clear, neither the candidates nor the sponsors know those questions that I'm gonna ask tonight. And then the second half of all the questions are coming from you via those note cards that you've already turned in. And Terry Eisenbart, who you just met, and Pamina Deutsch have been sorting and prioritizing those questions and grouping the like ones together. So we're excited to hear what you all have to say. Each of our candidates, we're going to have 4 minutes at the beginning for opening statements. Then they'll have 2 minutes each for each question, and 1 minute rebuttals if needed. And they both know that if they need it, they have to ask me for it. I'm not going to volunteer those rebuttals because we want to get to your questions. And let's see. There's one more thing. Oh, this is the most important thing. So I just talked with you all about the rules for the candidates, but we do have a few rules for this audience, and I just want to say that this is our community's only opportunity to see these two men together. And so we need to learn as much as we can, and we don't need to be distracting them or your neighbors with our own ideas and our own agendas and our own priorities. Tonight's not a pep rally. If you want to go to a pep rally for these fellas, they both have them. This isn't that. So we're asking you not to applaud or clap, applauding and clapping, the same thing, or yell or boo. We're not doing any of those things. We're being respectful and quiet for the duration of the debate, with the exception of the next 10 seconds when I invite you to make a bunch of racket. Hoop, holler, ruckus, clap, applaud for these two guys right now. Louder, come on, louder. All right. So now that we've gotten that out of our system, we are going to be quiet. And the first opening statement based upon the coin toss will be presented by Mayor Jim Fahey.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for being here. This election is about retaining and sustaining the best of Corrales. I'll retain the charm and sense of community and the warmth of the village that we all appreciate. I'll sustain our lifestyle using good financial stewardship, our comprehensive plan, and by protecting the health, safety, and welfare of our community. I made a commitment some years ago to public service in local and regional government. I understand the public health needs of our community. 13 years with the Southern Sandoval County Arroyo Flood Control Authority as a board member and a board chair gave me a solid understanding of how we can protect our community from the effects of storms and flooding. I served on the Corrales Village Council for 12 years, and of course I've been your mayor for the last 3.5. I walk the village every morning and dodge the cars on Corrales Road and attend most local events. I will speak to any resident who calls or emails or approaches about any issue facing me and or the village. But let's talk about what's been accomplished. First, what keeps me up at night is the prospect of fires that could destroy our village. We've added more fire hydrants and water lines, and those have improved our firefighting capacity. Hand in hand with fire is the need for water. We are working with the Office of the State Engineer to obtain water rights permits that we need to preserve and protect our water. Related to other water issues, the Sandia Pueblo asked to come to Corrales for an open meeting to sign a historic settlement to construct a new siphon which will provide critical irrigation for our agricultural community. Historic for us, not for anybody else. We are working to keep the water flowing abundantly into the future of the village. Other financial moves we've made include leveraging $7.5 million in grants with about $700,000 of village funds for projects. During the same 3-year time frame, we have obtained $8.6 million in capital outlay, including a first-time governor-granted grant to the village of Corrales for $1.6 million for fire lines and hydrants. The purchase of new properties helps us maintain open space. One allows us to expand La Entrada Park with more parking, freestanding bathroom facilities, walking path, equestrian paths, bicycle access. Another will host the growers market. The local 4-H club now uses 2 acres of the former Gonzalez property to farm. We purchased the former Wells Fargo Bank, giving us space for village meeting and places to store our records and the village history. We have a new gym and fitness facility. The old church has been restored. West Meadowlark Road was finally finished after 20 years, and there's a pedestrian path and bicycle path on the north side and an equestrian path on the south side. Our police and fire departments have made Corrales the safest community in the state of New Mexico. Dialogue and transparency have been constant in my administration. The mayor's message lands in the email boxes of about 2,000 residents every Friday. Council meetings are open to the public and available on Zoom and YouTube. All of this has been accomplished by working together with our smart and committed village staff and with state and regional officials. Years of experience have given me the contacts a mayor needs to get the job done. What's ahead in the next 4 years? We want to complete the 40-year water plan to get the village and our farmers much needed water. We want to acquire more open space, keeping our village's rural character. We want to work with the New Mexico Department of Transportation to make Corrales Road safer and develop Salsi Park on the west side of Corrales. I'm committed to retaining the charm and character of our wonderful village and sustaining what's best about Corrales while managing growth at the same time. I have the experience, skills, temperament, staff, and contacts to accomplish exactly that. Please vote for me on November 4th, or better, cast your vote early. Thank you.
Remember, we're not doing that clapping thing. We're going to sit tight on that. So this is our one and only reminder. I won't have to be Sunday school teacher for the rest of it because we'll remember from now on. And Dr. Hashimoto, let's hear your opening statement, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sandoval Indivisible, for organizing this. Thank you, Heather. I moved to Corrales more than 50 years ago. My wife and I were married in the old church, and our kids were raised here. I was a village counselor and am a retired professor of medicine. Corrales is not Albuquerque, nor Rio Rancho, and nor do we want to be. Neither do we want to be a suburb of any of those. We are, in a sense, a peaceful oasis, and I would like to keep it that way. It's our own haven away from the hustle and bustle and chaos of the surrounding municipalities and world. It is our home. The mayor and I have differing visions for Corrales home. He favors Corrales being a regional attraction, bringing people into the village. His last mayoral platform included a regional performing arts center. Shortly after his own selected committee rejected that, a 2,000 square foot event center was proposed in a plan by him and Main Street. Later, a 250-seat performing arts venue showed up in Main Street's Arts and Cultural District plan. Although rejected, it keeps recurring, and if he's elected, it will probably show up again. Albuquerque and Rio Rancho have large performing arts venues and event centers. Corrales does not need them. I think that we should celebrate and preserve aspects we all love and live for in the village: peacefulness, quiet, dark skies, fresh air to breathe, and a low population. Our comprehensive plan was a product of over 2 years' work by a dedicated and talented group of volunteers. At the 11th hour, the mayor tried to gut it by removing more than 100 recommendations. However, this plan of the people prevailed. Other residents' proposals have been totally ignored or dismissed by the mayor. His planning is top-down, and he tries to bypass council and the public in the process. The mayor has been pushing for a wastewater system. We should consider this most carefully before taking the plunge. The preliminary engineering report did not justify it. Such a system can be very costly to residents, drop our water table, and perhaps most importantly, pave the way to increasing housing density. These would be very negatively impact our quality of life and property values. Corrales will need to conserve or find new water sources, especially since it has been illegally pumping more water than allocated by its water rights. The $2.3 million junior water rights purchase agreement signed by the mayor, made before consulting expert water attorneys, will bring no water to farmers or anyone else. My mayoral pledge to the people of Corrales is communicate openly and respectfully with our people, conduct village business in an inclusive and transparent manner, pursue solid planning as recommended by the comprehensive plan, considering villagers as primary stakeholders, pursue purchasing senior, not junior water rights, work for safer roads and pathways, collaborating with the Department of Transportation, and enforce ordinances evenly. Let us preserve what we value in the village as we move forward to a creative future. I can help make a difference. Keep it Corrales. I look forward to the opportunity to work with you all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hashimoto. We have our first request for a rebuttal. You have up to 60 seconds, Mayor Fahey, for some quick remarks on that, and then we'll move on. Yep.
There is no plan for a 250 or whatever it was seat performing arts center. That was evaluated, it was turned down. There is no plan to put a village-wide sewer line in this community. We have asked to get a long-term plan to do a bypass loop so that our workers will not be contaminated when they have to do maintenance or repair work on our step system. That's what our focus is on. We are not spending any of the village's money. These are all grants that we have obtained to do this work.
I'd like a rebuttal.
Thank you.
Yeah, the performing arts venue was in the mayor's platform, and it showed up successfully again and again and again. And I think it will show up again if he is elected. Certainly we don't have it, but it shows up repeatedly, and there's a pattern there. The wastewater system is sort of moving on, and I think that before we take the plunge, we ought to make sure it's justified. The preliminary engineering report showed that it was not justified. The justification would mean village-wide testing and to show if there's a problem, and if there is a problem, where it is. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, so both of these gentlemen referenced water-related issues, but we're going to stay on water for just a few more minutes because so many people have weighed in advance about the concern related to water. Corrales, like most of New Mexico, faces a very uncertain water future. Our challenges are unique because we don't just worry about water supply or water quality. We also have to worry about groundwater protection, wastewater management, what to do about a sewer, all of those different things. Each of these gentlemen have started a few inputs around what they think about water. What I'm asking you both to do is to share with us, if there's beyond what you've already said, which water issues do you believe to be most critical, and what policies or practices you will advocate to address them. Dr. Hashimoto, you go first this time. Issues regarding water that you believe are most critical.
I think water is a horribly important issue, probably the most important for Corrales and maybe for the Southwest. Yeah, groundwater contamination is an issue, but it has not been justified. We need to really prove it before we pursue the grant. Water availability is an issue with the climate change and the level of the water dropping in our ground table and the river. We need to look for new sources of water. And actually, since we're over-diverting water, we're using more than we're supposed to use, we need to figure out how to conserve that water. Where is the water going to? Who is using it in the village? And this is just municipal, it's not your personal use. But we need to figure out where that water is going to and try to conserve it. Water is very important, and we need to pursue senior water rights, not junior water rights, to get it. So water quality, water abundance, they're all very key importance for Corrales, and we need to pursue those issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Fahey?
So the water issues become quite apparent this year, actually the last few years, with regard to the siphon that we had on the north end of the village and the lack of water for our farmers. And that got us started thinking about water rights. We inquired about the issue of water rights. We actually had someone who offered to sell us some water rights. And so that prompted us to talk to the state engineer, because they're the people who control the water rights. The state engineer looked at, well, actually, it was not the state engineer initially. It was a consulting group we put together of experts who could help us look into the water rights issue, and we discovered that the village of Corrales is non-compliant. We have not been certified or permitted by the state for 22 years. So we have to get compliant first. We have to get permitted first before we can start looking at purchasing any water rights. And we are in the process of doing that right now. We met with the district manager for the Office of State Engineer, and she was very amenable to our plan. She was very eager to help us. She liked the idea of the water rights that we had contemplated. They are called pre-1956 or pre-basin rights, and these are used by municipalities throughout New Mexico. So that's where we are right now, trying to get compliance so we can move on to the next thing. And the other plan we would like to have for water is to somehow figure out a way to pipe it down to the farming area, the agricultural area, so farmers can tie into it, much like you would any type of municipal or administrative water system in a community. But this would allow them, through drip irrigation, to perhaps continue farming when the water is down, sometimes at the end of the summer. The idea of polluted water, we need to do a water testing program, and we are going to talk with the Secretary of the Department, the Secretary of New Mexico Environment Department, about setting up a water testing plant.
I'd like to make a rebuttal. I'd like to make a rebuttal, Heather.
All right.
Okay. The village has signed a purchase agreement for $2.3 million of junior water rights. These are basically worthless. As any certified water attorney will tell you, They will not bring a drop of water to farmers or anyone else in the village. This is to give you an example. Water rights they have a prioritization. Recently, Rio Rancho tried to use its water rights, and the Pueblo of Sandia opposed it. The court upheld Sandia Pueblo. Rio Rancho was not able to use their water rights, and they were senior water rights. So, junior water rights, anybody will tell you if you live within 5 miles of the river are worthless because as the water drops, you have to account for the depletion of the water table, and you have to use senior water rights to do that. So junior water rights, which the village is committed to, are worthless. Senior water rights was the solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hashimoto. Mayor Fahey, are we good? Can we move on to the next one?
Sure.
Okay. So our next big topic is the comprehensive plan. This year, our village completed a new comprehensive plan with hard work from its organizing committee and extensive input from community members. I look around this room and I see a lot of people who worked on the comprehensive plan. Really quick, if you did work on the comprehensive plan, would you raise your hand? And we're going to say thank you to you folks that did that. Here's our question to the candidates. Which aspects of the plan are you most aligned with? And is there anything in it with which you disagree? So aspects of the plan that you are aligned and not aligned. And Mayor Fahey, you go first on this one.
Well, I like the comprehensive plan because I actually appointed the committee. They made the comprehensive plan a little longer than I liked. But the things that I like in the comprehensive plan is the stress on agriculture, open spaces, pathways, basically family-related things as well as agriculture-related things. I think we try to use the comprehensive plan anytime we focus on a new ordinance or a change in ordinances. I thought the plan took a little longer than I wanted them to spend. I kind of wanted something that you could sit and read in one sitting. It's a little difficult. I think I used the term 30 pages and they came in at 180, and that's okay. It was just, that's just me. I'm a bullet points guy, and that was not exactly the way I liked it. There seemed to be a lot of repetition, but I do like the fact that we focus on what's important for us here in the village of Corrales.
Thank you. The comprehensive plan is a guideline that the village will use to help fashion ordinances and rules and regulations for the next 10 years. One thing I liked about the comprehensive plan is it talks about planning. For instance, it talks about the neighborhood commercial zone, and from Dixon to Meadowlark, 350 feet east and west of Corrales Road. The comprehensive plan recommended a master plan be done for this. They recommended getting a consultant for this, and also recommended that the public be a stakeholder in this process. That is really good. One thing that I was disappointed maybe in the comprehensive plan or the process is that they initially wanted a planning department in Corrales. A lot is going on in Corrales. As Heather and other people will tell you, there are a lot of hot issues and soft issues in Corrales. And a planning department was recommended by the comprehensive plan, but administration did not want it, and so eventually it got deleted. I was very disappointed in planning. So the big thing is a plan. It's a plan for the future, 10 years in the future. It recommended some very specific plans, but a planning department that it recommended was taken out at the last minute. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Dr. Hashimoto. Mayor Fahey, were you going to add something right quick?
So we looked into this planning issue during the administration. We actually consulted an individual who does a lot of this for many municipalities and asked, is this an appropriate thing for us to invest in, a full-time planner? Because everything we do requires planning and design, everything the village does and the administrative puts forth. So she broke it down as to what the planner would have to do and said to us, basically, no, you don't need a planner. If you get to a situation like this, bam, 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 then you can contract a planner to help you do the things that you want to do. But by and large, on most things, planning is included in what we do to begin with. Right now, we are planning fire suppression systems on into the future. We have like $4 million to put in fire suppression lines, fire lines, to fight the fires in the future. That's the biggie that we have right now. So the planning issue we thought was sort of, way on the back burner, perhaps way down on the list of things that we would do.
All right,
I'd like
thank
to
you.
rebut that.
Do you need another minute, sir, or are we good?
No, I'd like that minute.
You got it.
Planning is key. As Mayor Faes pointed out, there are millions of dollars of planning money going to projects, and to plan correctly is so important. Currently, the planner in this village is the administrator. Well, the administrator's got plenty of tasks to do, and from HR to you name it, and that a specific planner, someone who's experienced in villages, someone's experienced in contextual type of issues, where the plans sit, someone's experienced in granting, someone's experienced in bringing different departments of the village together to work together in a plan. That's what a planning department's about, and that was rejected. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we're going to go to the third and last question that is authored by me, and then we'll go to your questions. And to the candidates, I want to let you know that I've been juggling on this little coffee table, this little TV table over here, a huge stack of questions. And so to the extent that the two of you are able to skip the rebuttals and move on to other questions, we'll get to more of them. So use the rebuttals when you really need them, if you don't mind. All right, so to all of you, the next question up is leadership style. So there are some people who say that what defines a mayor in particular isn't so much about what they advance in terms of policies. Maybe it's their policies, but maybe it's their approach to working with other members of government. That includes municipal government, village council, land use advisors, on planning and zoning, or our park and rec. It also includes how you're collaborating with our county commissioners and how we're collaborating with the state legislature for critical funding needed by our village. So this question is, what can you tell us about your approach to collaboration between government entities and the ways in which you would lead on that? And Dr. Hashimoto, this one's yours first.
Thank you. I like being a leader. I recently retired from UNM School of Medicine after 50 years. I was chief of the medical staff. I had leadership, elected, administrative and managerial type of responsibilities. I liked that. I was basically a clinician for these 50 years I was at UNM, and though I had administrative and research and teaching obligations, I was a clinician. I'm a people person. I work with people. I think the world is people. The world is run by people who show up, like you all. Thank you very much. I work with patients all the time. I work with informed consent. I work with informed decision-making, shared decision-making. I think I am not a top-down leader. I am collaborative. I work with different people. I like to listen. I like to talk. I like to communicate. I think life is relationships, and that communication and relationships are really important making decisions. I have a daughter who is an investment banker in New York City, and though she looks at numbers on a computer screen all day, she'll tell you that it's people who make the decisions. And I realize that, and I love to meet with different people, whether they're the pueblos or the municipalities. I've met with actually the department heads in the village already. I look forward to working with them. They're a great group of people. Life is relationships. I'm a people person. That's how I lead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mayor?
I think there's some really good words there. Collaboration, cooperation, compromise. We collaborate with our department heads, with people in the community who have identified an issue or a problem and brought it to us. We cooperate with them and with other agencies that can help us perhaps get grants, perhaps smooth the waters to get where we want. We definitely cooperate with a number of different agencies to get things done. I think that my management style is one of cooperation and collaboration with our employees, with our department heads, and with anybody involved in any decisions that we make. We talk about things a lot. We ask for a lot of advice. We ask for a lot of consultations. We go to the state. We go to the county and get some help. We go to the different places that do the things that we want. For example, the Office of the State Engineer, NMED. Those are the people we talk with about the problems that we have to help us make good decisions. And like I said, collaboration, cooperation, compromise, those are really good words. Thank you.
I'd like to say a minute, sir. And I think communication is important. I've gone to the legislature numerous times for UNM, for Corrales, and it is amazing when you go to the legislature, you talk to people, they listen, and a lot of times they talk back. They will communicate sometimes after your input, and it's really an interactive process. I've had a fair amount of success doing it. I like doing it. And actually, I even saw Ron Curry's wife when she was a senator from down south, talked to her about a UNM issue. I enjoy talking to people, meeting people. I've even talked with the governor on an issue. So I lead, and I talk, and I listen. Thank you.
So we had 6 people in this room give us questions around traffic, including horse traffic, and how to manage that, given our growing population. So the concern, the collective concern in these different cards are that 1, our population is growing. 2, our roadways are not. So we've got a conflict there. How do we manage that? We also have concerns around how we would pay for future improvements on traffic. So let's talk for just a minute on traffic solutions and protection for animals. And this is 2 minutes, and this goes first to Mayor Fahey.
So we have recently had a conversation with the Secretary of the New Mexico Department of Transportation. And they were very receptive to our thoughts and our ideas to partner and get things done. They haven't talked to us for a couple of years. They're very difficult to get at the table, and they're very difficult to sign any kind of agreement. However, they seem to be very receptive to the idea of perhaps a memorandum of understanding between them and the village to get things done along Corrales Road. In fact, we're going to have a safety study done on Corrales Road soon, and those of you who live on the north end who happen to drive around that curve with those 2 big, huge elm trees, I have been told by the new district manager that they're going to cut those down. So at some point, unfortunately, they're going to close the road and cut those trees down. Could be a month. But anyway, our goal is to slow the traffic in some way without lowering the speed limit. People don't feel happy about lower speed limits, but if we can control the traffic in such a way that people drive safely through areas where perhaps we have narrowed the lanes or perhaps put up curbs or something, in other words, to make it feel like it's tighter and people don't speed. The NMDOT is now going to speak with us quite frequently, having had this meeting with them. Yeah, I pretty much told you what I wanted to tell you. It's a big deal to have them come. Go ahead.
Actually, Councilor Mira was the one who really facilitated this whole conversation with the Department of Transportation Secretary, because some residents in the north were concerned about accidents and speeding in that area. And so Councilor Mira, who was a long-term legislator, had contacts and was able to facilitate that discussion. And an issue has been with the DOT, Department of Transportation, is you get engineers talking with engineers. And DOT usually they're interested in through traffic, getting traffic through on a road as fast as it can be, as fast as possible. But it's really heartening that the Secretary of Transportation has been communicating now and really interfacing with the village to try to look at solutions. Solutions include perhaps decreasing speed limits in high-risk areas, in S-curve areas, in perhaps neighborhood commercial zone, downtown. That can be done. The traffic here is incredible. 16,000 cars a day pass Village Hall during the week, and that's a 65% increase during the weekends. Actually, most of this traffic comes from us. Probably about 90% of it does. And for better or for worse, we are the cause, a big cause. And that, so population growth is a big thing. The more people we get in the village, if we start getting more dwellings per lot, we're going to have more people, it's going to worsen. But an interesting fact is most of the traffic tickets are not to residents, they're from people outside Corrales. They're speeding through, trying to bypass, and that probably they just don't respect what Corrales is, what the traffic is, and what the village is, and they should slow down with us. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, both of you. We're now going to switch to a question for which we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 7 cards that came in on this matter, which is the role of the arts in our village. So we recognize that the arts are a really critical and important part of our village. We know they're an important part of our economic base. And so the question is twofold. What would each of the candidates do regarding supporting the arts in our community, and specifically, and then additionally, what are your positions on the current visioning of a performing arts center? And this one goes first to Dr. Hashimoto.
Thank you very much. The second part I've already answered. I'm against a large performing arts center or event center, period. It just has no role in Corrales. The arts are important, and I support them. Interestingly, arts come in many shapes and sizes and colors and forms. Art is not only drawing on a piece of paper or painting on a canvas or sculpting in a marble. Arts is doing a lot more. Actually, I met with Ideum, the founder and CEO, and he makes these touch boards for museums and exhibitions, and it's international. It's amazing. He uses visual type of context. He uses senses. He uses color. He uses tactile, and he it's just multimedia using many different senses. This is real art. This is also art. I met with Dendro, Rick Toller. He makes beautiful furniture out of slabs of native wood. That's art too. And our village is full of musicians, it's full of actors, it's full of writers. They're all art too. So there's art in many different forms. There's people who use art galleries downtown. There are people who do art in the community. So our art is many shapes and sizes, and I support art. I think that if there is there should be art in public places. Sometimes it's in the village hall. It should be in the library. It should be any place. If we have a community center, it should have a gallery for people who display their art. I'm all for that. I'm grateful that Main Street actually helps support the arts, and the artists will tell you they do, and I think that's very good, particularly the artists who have galleries. The artists who have home arts, that's a challenge. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hashimoto. Mayor Fahey?
So arts are critical to our community. They're part of the history, the nature, the people who live here. It's important. Art is important for education, for knowledge, for the experience of living. I mean, art to one person may be trash to another, vice versa. That's probably not a good comparison. But anyway, the idea is that it's a perception many times with art. I look at something and I say, gee, that doesn't look like much. And somebody else says, oh, that's fantastic. Now, with regard to a performing arts center, so the whole history of this performing arts center that started when I first got elected goes back to early 2000s. Well, right after I got elected to my first term in the council, 2006 or 7, when a very dear friend of mine who's no longer here, Carmine DeVivi, came to the council and beat the dais and said, we need to have a performing arts center in this community. And he had built one, he had helped build one, he had kind of pushed it through somewhere in California, and it was very important to the lifeblood of that community in California. That's probably the same thing here. It's very important to what we do and who we are here in this village. So I think if it comes back at some point in the future, we'll probably approach it in a little better way than we did this first time, so that more people feel like they are included. I think a lot of people felt like they were not the first time around. At any rate, I believe it'll come back at some point in the future. It took about, 15, 16 years for it to actually come up this time, so give it a chance. It may come back.
I'd like to rebut just a minute.
Yes, sir.
I think performing art is good. I'm a musician. I perform. It depends on the size. A small performing arts center, that's great. And a large performing arts center, that's not so great. We don't need to bring in people from everywhere. And you have a large performing arts center. One, it's going to cost money. Two, it's going to have depreciation. Three, it's going to have maintenance. You have to have a schedule. When the ACE Arts and the Performing Arts Center was started, they talked about having living live performances on the weekends and perhaps movies on the weekdays. Well, you get a lot of people coming in and out, and as we know, Corrales Road is congested already. So a performing arts center is good, I think, but it depends on size. A large center, no. Smaller center, yes. Thank you.
Sorry, it's okay that you didn't hear me mumbling about the fact that I picked up the wrong card and didn't have the question in front of me. I'm so sorry. All right, so we had 4 of you that asked us to inquire about where these gentlemen stand on small businesses and the ways in which we handle small businesses in our community. So specifically, the question is, the combined question from a few of these is, how will you support small businesses, especially restaurants, and what other ways do you see growing the tax base? And if you can squeeze it in, are there any limits that you see to how you would support small businesses? So how do we support our small business community, and do we have any limits to it? And this one goes first to Mayor Fahey.
So we have relatively speaking, we have a small commercial core, and I think that limits the amount of businesses the actual brick and mortar businesses that we can have. The other kind of business that we have in the village is the home occupation businesses, and they are very successful. But as far as the business limitation in the community, it's where you can set up a business. And I don't see where the administration needs to step in there. We have them follow certain rules and guidelines when they set up their business. And once they've done that, they certainly can set up their business and do what they want to do. We encourage them to come here. We encourage them to participate in the village and all the activities. But if there's no space, they wouldn't be here. The big issue is we do need money. We do need gross receipts tax. We are getting more in gross receipts all the time because our businesses are very successful. I like restaurants. I like to go to different restaurants. And we have some really fantastic restaurants here in the community. And even if you want to call them a brew pub or a bar or whatever, they have some very good food trucks that come to their place. So I don't have a problem with them. I think they should be allowed to do their business. If they don't succeed, they don't succeed. As we see now in Albuquerque, in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho, Bernalillo, a number of these places have failed. That's just kind of the nature of small business. Some of them will make it and some of them will fail. I don't think it's our position as an administration or a village government to put our thumb on the scale to make it hard for them to succeed, or vice versa.
Thank you, sir.
Let me tell you a little bit about businesses in Corrales. Actually, the finances in Corrales. Corrales has had a very robust financial status since about 2008. And actually, even during the pandemic lockdown, Corrales did very well financially. And a reason I'll tell you about that shortly. Something you people don't realize that the businesses bring in about 60% of the revenue generated the village needs for operations. 40% are personal property taxes. Of that 60% of gross receipts taxes, 60% of them are from home occupations. So it's not the central core that people think it might be, but most of the business in Corrales is done outside. It's done in the community, it's done by artists, it's done by writers, it's done by consults, it's done by architects, it's done by people consulting, and that's where a lot of the business is. And since the pandemic, people realize, hey, Corrales is really nice. I've got my home, and I don't have to drive into Albuquerque. I can just do my business with a screen and a keyboard. And so home ocs are really help drive the economy of Corrales, and it's done really well, which is, thank you very much for home ocs. On Central Core, yes, they're storefronts, they're restaurants, and yeah, they're limited, I think, by traffic, like everyone else is limited by traffic. That when you get a lot of traffic, the businesses might not do so well. Again, I think Main Street, helps these small businesses, and I think that's good. The village pays Main Street. They pay for their executive director. They pay extra for advertising, Viva Corrales, those events. So Main Street supports small businesses, and I think that's very positive. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mayor Fahey, you have a quick rebuttal?
So there is no way to determine the exact percentage of our income from home ocs versus brick and mortar facilities.
Hey, Mayor, I'm getting a note.
Excuse me.
There you go. Put your mic a little closer.
Okay, I'll get into the microphone. So there's no way to know for sure what the percentages are. It's kind of we don't know. They're not well defined coming from the state. But since 2021, the gross receipts tax have just gone way up because of a change in state law. In 2008, we were in dire shape, and thanks to Mayor Gastower, we were able to get out of that without much trouble, and have gradually improved over time. But the big jump occurred in 2021. I think gross receipts taxes are important for the village, and I think home ocs are also important.
I'll just add, I got that data from talking to the finance people. I talked to 2 finance people in Corrales, and in the village hall, and they gave me those numbers.
Okay, so we started a little late, so we're going to end a little late. We're going to squeeze in 2 more questions instead of 1 more. And this one, if y'all can do it in 60 seconds or less, that would be pretty splendid. But you may need 2 minutes, so we understand that. Agriculture. Corrales was a farming village before it was a bedroom community of Albuquerque, and there's a lot of desire to protect agriculture in the village. There's also conflicts around how do we manage the water needs of agriculture in our village. So what do each of you believe is the future of agriculture in our village? And Dr. Hashimoto, you get to go first.
Yeah, agriculture, a big issue there is water. And, water is water, and it comes from the sky, and the siphon hopefully will be replaced shortly. I was really glad that Farmers Cooperative helped get a Thornburg grant. The Thornburg grant is going to look at surface water and irrigation, and they're going to look at groundwater and look at the links between them, get the data from those studies, and turn it into education for farmers to how can you do the job better, and what crops do you have to grow. Some crops do better here than other places. Surface irrigation is tough, drip irrigation is better. So the Thornburg grant is really a positive step in the right direction to get the farmers water. I completely support the growers market. I think they are a face of agriculture in Corrales. And actually what I would like to see is and I've been pushing for this for years, is that corridor coming down from the Gonzales 5.5 to the Gonzales 3, right in the middle of the village, to have that be an agricultural sort of showcase for the village, to show agriculture to be a heritage garden, which has heritage plants and vines and maybe trees, and maybe a community kitchen. But I really support agriculture, and I think we ought to continue to support agriculture. It's it's the foundation of this village. Thank you.
Thank
So
you, sir.
agriculture is critical to the village of Corrales. It's part of our nature. It's almost like the arts are. So as I was winding up my career in orthopedics, I started going to the growers market on Sundays. I was a vendor. I ultimately became market manager for a year, but I had to quit that when I got elected to office. I thought that was an unnecessary conflict of interest. But I still had a big interest in farming, in the agricultural business, and for a while in Texas I had a ranch and cattle and all that stuff. But I think it's very important that we support our farmers, and we're working on a plan incorporating these water issues we talked about earlier to try to get more water to the farmers and make them sustainable in the future. We would like to see perhaps, a 24-hour growers market. Someone mentioned an honors market. Well, I think that might be pushing it, but it's worked for Sage, and it's worked for way back when Hanselman's Pottery was there. So, those are ideas that we are having now and plans we're trying to put together with this Farmers Coalition to try to get the water to the farmers. And we have to do it. We have to get the water first. We have to get enough water that we can fight the fires and provide for the farming community.
I just had a quick story. Is I went on the farm tour at the recent Harvest Festival and saw a farmer who's relatively new. He has a master's degree in poetry. He likes to write poetry. And so he's starting his farm from scratch, and he's doing okay. He shows at the growers market. And at the end, I said, Ben, I said, have you written any poetry lately? I like to write poetry too. And he said, no, Fred, I haven't been writing poetry, but I've been living it. And so it's really such a heartfelt thing that he really loves farming. That's why he's doing it. He's living his poetry. Thank you.
All right. So this is going to be our last question before we go to closing statements. And I'm going to use my moderator's prerogative to say you each really, truly only have 60 seconds on this one. And that is, it's an easy one. One thing that you most love about Corrales, and Mayor Fahey, you go first. One thing you most love about our village.
Well, I really like it because my wife is here with me. But I like the people. Corrales is the people. It is a place, but it's the people who are here. Most people are very agreeable, cooperative, nice, friendly. It's just a great place to live. We happened upon it by accident, and I was very taken with the open spaces. We like having open, or at least I do, although she sometimes has given me a hard time because I tend to plant every bit of open space I have. But that's what I like about Corrales. The agriculture, the open space, and the people. The people make the community.
Thank you.
Yeah, I second that. My wife, she's number one, and the people in Corrales are just incomparable. So.
All right. Very good. We're going to go to closing statements. And based on our coin toss, Mayor Fahey, you're first on closing.
No, I'm second.
Is that right? Did I get that backwards? I did. I'm so sorry. You're second.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandoval Indivisible and Heather Ballas, for putting on this event. It is it's a real engaging type of community effort. Thank you, audience, for your time and attention. I believe in Corrales and our future. Corrales is an incredibly unique community. It has been financially stable for a couple of decades and even did well when we were locked down. It is 90% built out, so we can afford to take some time to plan right and well. We don't have to do it right now. Corrales has many assets, including acequias, open spaces in the Bosque, low housing density, quaint shops, fine restaurants, historical small-town character, and agriculture, and animals. Yet its biggest asset is its people, its community. We have an absolutely amazing community of good and talented, creative and accomplished people who fervently take care for where they live. We are a people village, and I am a people person who has cared for people over many, many decades, half a century. Daily I practice it. I will help lead our government of the people, by the people, and for the people to take our village forward into a creative future while preserving the reasons we all love and live in Corrales. Please support me for mayor. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Mayor?
So I believe life is better in Corrales today. The chances that fire will destroy or damage our village have been reduced. We're working on getting farmers the water they need to be sustainable and water we need to fight the fire. We created open space along with new bicycle paths, walking paths, and equestrian paths. We have a new gym, a restored old church, and a completed Meadowlark Road. I don't know how many of you remember Meadowlark Road going on for 20 years. We support our local artists and galleries. We are working with the New Mexico Department of Transportation to come up with ways to make Corrales roads safer. And speaking of safety, once again, thanks to our terrific police and fire departments where we are now the safest community in New Mexico. Those things and more have been accomplished because we believe strongly in working together with you, the residents of Corrales, the business owners here in the village, and with officials from state, regional, and local government organizations. Teamwork is how we get things done. We are all on the same Corrales team, and we are more alike than we are different. The administration is an open book. We believe in regular communications. Many of you read my weekly mayor's message, and it is my mayor's message, by the way. You know you can email the village or call me, and I'm open to talking with you about any Corrales issue. I have been in some public service for most of my life. Corrales needs a mayor with decades of experience in government who understands the water issues, who is fiscally responsible, a good manager and collaborator who will bring us together to preserve Corrales' rural character. I'm aware there are different approaches on how to do that. But by compromising and collaborating, we can agree on what's best for our community. The way to keep Corrales is to use good management and collaboration. Don't vote for a slogan. Instead, choose the candidate with a track record and a plan for the future. That's what I'm offering. Please vote for me on November 4th. Thank you.
And my friends, that concludes tonight's debate. Now you can make your ruckus. Thank you to Sandoval Indivisible for hosting us tonight, and thank you to these two good men for being willing to lead our community. Good night.